When Americans think about our founding, one name stands above all others. That name, George Washington. He wasn't a king. He didn't want to be one. What made Washington special was restraint. At key moments, he chose duty over power, and that choice shaped the country that we still live in. George Washington was born in 1732 in colonial Virginia. His father died when George was just 11 years old. From an early age, Washington learned discipline, responsibility, and how to manage land and people. As a teenager, Washington became a surveyor. He spent long days riding through forests and rugged country. That work toughened him and gave him a lifelong understanding of the country that would eventually become the United States. In his early 20s, Washington served in the French and Indian War. He made mistakes, he learned hard lessons, and saw firsthand just how powerful the British Army was. Those early failures mattered. They taught him patience, they taught him caution, they taught him wars were not just about winning battles, they're about endurance. In 1759, George married Martha Custis and settled into life at Mount Vernon. He became a planter and a respected local leader. As Britain tightened their grip on the colonies through new taxes and laws, Washington's loyalties began to shift. He believed Englishmen and Americans had rights that were being ignored. When war broke out with Britain, Washington was chosen to lead the Continental Army. He wasn't the age's best tactician, but he was the right man for the job. Washington held the army together through freezing winters, short supplies, unpaid soldiers, and crushing defeats. His greatest strength? Perseverance. And when victory finally came, Washington did something rare in history. He resigned his command and went home. After independence, the young country was struggling. The Articles of Confederation were too weak. The country was drifting. Washington came out of retirement to support a new constitution. His presence gave the convention credibility. People trusted him, not because he talked the most, but because he had proven his character. In 1789, Washington was unanimously elected first president of the United States. There was no rule book. Everything he did set a precedent. How the cabinet worked, how he dealt with Congress, and even how he spoke to the public. He supported a strong federal credit system, enforced federal law during the Whiskey Rebellion, and kept America out of Europe's wars through neutrality. Washington believed the presidency should be strong, but never above the law. After 2 terms, Washington stepped down. In his farewell address, he warned Americans about bitter political divisions and foreign entanglements. Once again, he walked away from power. That single act may be his greatest legacy. Washington owned enslaved people, a painful contradiction in a country founded on liberty. Late in life, he ordered that all the slaves that he personally owned be freed upon Martha's death. In a letter to John Mercer in September of 1786, George Washington wrote, "I can only say that there is not a man living who wishes more sincerely than I do to see some plan adopted by which slavery in this country may be abolished by law." It doesn't erase the injustice, but it does show a man wrestling with the limits of his time. George Washington didn't just help win independence. He showed the world what leadership without ambition looks like. In an age hungry for power, Washington gave us something better: example. Thanks for watching, Patriot Hippie. If you like these videos, please give me a like. Subscribe, share with your friends. Until next time, remember peace, freedom, and the American story.